As employees working to serve the public in many capacities, we have commitments to the organization, ourselves, and our families to work safely. Depending on your day-to-day job duties, safety might not seem like much of a concern. You may think accidents rarely happen. However, there are hazards that should be addressed and avoided at all costs in order to maintain a safe work environment. This training will review these hazards and safety concerns and will provide steps that should be taken in order to avoid accidents. In this training video, we will address the following topics: slips, trips, and falls, good housekeeping, proper lifting techniques, personal protective equipment, office ergonomics, miscellaneous safety hazards, and emergency procedures. Did you know that slips, trips, and falls are responsible for 20% of all occupational injuries and are one of the top 5 reasons for workers' compensation claims in the last decade? Falls are also the second leading cause of accidental death after traffic accidents, killing more than 12,000 people per year. Due to the nature of the work being performed, the potential for a slip, trip, or fall is always present in an office environment, but they can be prevented. Many office safety hazards, including slips, trips, and falls, can be avoided by practicing good housekeeping and being aware of your surroundings. Some simple housekeeping items to keep in mind are keeping electronic cords neat and tucked away, closing drawers or other objects that disrupt walking paths, keeping rugs and mats tight and flat against the ground, and cleaning up spills immediately, providing caution signs if needed. If there are hazards out of your control that need to be addressed, contact your supervisor immediately for assistance. Using proper lifting techniques is another common area for concern. When lifting items, always check how heavy the item is before you begin lifting it. If you are able to lift the item yourself, always remember to lift with your legs, not your back. If you find that you may need assistance, stop and ask a coworker for help. If you need to reach an item up high, use a proper ladder or step stool. Never stand on chairs, boxes, or other makeshift platforms. If an item needs to be moved to a different level of the building, use the elevator whenever possible. If this is not possible, ask for assistance from some of your peers to determine the safest way to transport. Depending on your job, personal protective equipment, or PPE, may be required or recommended. Types of PPE include eye protection, specialized footwear, ear protection, skin protection, and head protection. The equipment must be properly used, as well as properly maintained in order to work effectively. It is important that if you are issued a piece of PPE, that you wear it at all appropriate times. Keep in mind that if you are injured on the job because of a lack of required PPE, you could be subject to disciplinary action. In most scenarios, the city will provide you with the PPE that you need to perform your job. If you are not issued a piece of PPE that you believe you need, you should speak with your supervisor. Another area of office safety to be addressed is ergonomics. Ergonomics is defined as fitting a job to the person and should take into consideration the capability of employees, limitations of employees, and requirements of the job. Some employees spend long periods of time at their workstations. If workstations are not set up properly, they could create unnecessary stress or strain on employees. Here are some examples of proper ergonomics in the office. Computer chairs should be adjusted so that feet rest comfortably on the floor. Computer screens should be approximately 18 inches to 24 inches from your eyes and at a height that allows you to see clearly without the need to bend your neck. Typing should be done at a 90-degree angle. Ensure that your keyboard and mouse are situated in a way that this is possible. Frequent mini breaks should be taken to give your eyes and wrists a break, and small exercises can be done to help lower the risk of injury. Inform your supervisor should you have any abnormal aches or pains that you believe could be addressed with proper ergonomics. When emergency strikes, there is no time for uncertainty. Emergency shelter and evacuation procedures as well as weather conditions, should be the knowledge of all employees. Regardless of the type of emergency, the most important guideline is to remain calm and follow procedures. Should a situation present itself in which you are required to notify proper authorities, it is imperative that you know the address of your building as well as the nearest cross street. The city has identified designated shelter areas for each building. Safe shelter areas are in the lowest level of a building and are interior locations. There are also designated meeting places for each building. Safe meeting places are at a distance from the building and will not block emergency vehicles or personnel. All employees should be mindful of the location of fire extinguishers and fire alarms for the building in which they work. If you are unclear in any of these areas or require additional support or training, please ask your department head or supervisor. Shelter in place is another response action appropriate for outside threats. The objective of sheltering in place is to keep any outside threat outside by physically securing the exterior doors of the building to prevent entry. Examples of these types of hazard may include, but are not limited to, gunfire, a bomb threat, severe weather, and hazardous materials. Once the building is secure, no one, civilian nor employee, will be allowed to enter or exit until advised by police or fire officials. ALICE is the protocol that the city follows for internal threats. ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate in no particular order. Move to safety in rooms that can be locked down and barricaded. Lock doors, turn off lights, and hide from view of any windows. Get the items in your hands to defend yourself should you need to counter. Alert other occupants of the building by any means possible. Be sure to be as specific about the situation as possible. Call 911 and inform of the threat as soon as it can be done safely. If possible, at any time, evacuate the building away from the threat. The city has implemented COS Warn, alert messages that are sent by police dispatch to inform all city employees of specific emergencies and what procedures have been put in place. Safety is a team effort, and everyone has to work together to maintain safety in the workplace. Take the time for safety, as nothing is more important than your safety and the safety of your peers. The office can be a busy place, but taking shortcuts can put yourself and others at risk. Use common sense and good judgment throughout your workday. Working together, you can reduce accidents and injuries. Consult your supervisor or the City Safety Committee should you come across any additional safety concerns.